Hey there guys, in today's video I wanted to share something that I got with you guys. I got myself a Christmas present for Parrot toy making. This is a Crop-a-dile Big Bite. It is something I got myself for Christmas. So I did want to show you guys how it works and give you guys some of the pros and cons that I found about this tool for making Parrot toys. So if you guys want to see this review on this honestly pretty impressive Parrot toy making tool, then I encourage you guys to stick around because that's going to be coming up right after this. This is Jack over at Hi Red Bird, where I am tirelessly working to find new ways to make the keeping of exotic animals and pets more exciting, more affordable, and ultimately more enjoyable. In today's video, I wanted to give you guys a review of a Parrot toy making tool that I recently got myself. So for Christmas, I treated myself to this. This is the Crop-a-dile Big Bite. Now this is typically sold at craft stores in their scrapbooking section, because it does a variety of hole punches, but you can also find it online pretty easily. Now, I do want to point out that I did not get this from anyone. This is not a sponsored video. I went out and I did buy this, so I am going to give you guys my honest opinion of it. But I do need to thank my Patreon patrons. By supporting the channel, they give me the opportunity to get things like this so that I can then put together even more toy making tutorials for you guys. So if you guys are interested in being a Patreon patron, go ahead, check the description section down below. It'll tell you all about it. But this is a pretty good Parrot toy making tool. I have to admit that from the very beginning. It has a lot of use. There's a lot of really good things about it. So I really do want to show you guys how this works. I'm going to show you some demonstrations on a variety of different commonly used Parrot toy making materials as well. And so I'll let you guys know exactly what I... All right, guys, so first things first, I just wanted to show you a couple of features and how this works. So it actually has feet on the bottom that make it pretty nice and sturdy. So you'll see right at the top, there's going to be an adjustment knob, and you can choose between setting a grommet or punching either a 1/8 or a 3/16 inch hole. Now, it does punch right through there. There's going to be two different holes. So you can see the 1/8 is towards the front, 3/16 towards the back. And underneath, it is just open. So it is going to punch holes directly onto whatever surface you are working on. So you do just want to be aware of that. It's not going to catch the mess. That's probably the one thing that I could say might be a downside about this. But the upside is a lot of the things that have the ability to catch the mess. The problem that you have is then having to clean out that receptacle. So the good news is that this just goes completely clear. Now, there is going to be, you'll notice, a ruler on the inside of it. So that gives you the ability to gauge what you are punching. And you'll notice there's actually 3 different sets of lines. That's going to measure from each of those different fittings, the grommet, the small, or the large hole punch. Now you also have a slide so that you can easily set things. So if I wanted to punch something like a popsicle stick, and I wanted to use the 3/16 inch hole, that's the larger hole, and I wanted to make sure that that ends up being, 1 inch away from the end. I can go ahead, set that to 1 inch on the 3/16 inch, then go ahead, put that into position, make sure that I'm set on the 3/16 up here as well, and then just punch into that, and that's going to give me the ability to do that. So the good news with that piece right there is I can either do both sides, and I know that those 2 holes are going to be equally spaced from the inside, or if I needed to do a variety of different pieces, I could do them and have all the holes be very, very similar as opposed to eyeballing it, which a lot of times we try to eyeball things, and think that's going to work really well, and it doesn't. All right, guys, now I have found there are quite a few different items that you can punch using this, and they are going to work really, really well. So let me go ahead and start with some of the basics. So there's going to be things, obviously, like tongue depressors, popsicle sticks. Again, you just want to make sure that the ones that you are using for this are going to be bird safe. But you can see that on both the 3/16 and the 1/8, it does punch through there very, very easily. So that is going to be tongue depressors and popsicle sticks. Now there are things like drinking straws. For some small parrots, they do like to get toys with things like drinking straws. It is a little more finicky to line this up just because there is such a small amount of space. But you can see the 1/8 inch, it goes into that really easily. Now, if I wanted to do the 3/16 of an inch, if I line it up, it goes in there pretty easily, but you can see on that one side, that's going to be pretty weak. That's going to break pretty easily. So on this size drinking straw, I probably would not recommend using that size hole. But if you wanted to get something like milkshake straws, that would give you the option to do that as well. Now, you guys are going to have to forgive me because I did pre-punch some of these holes because I really just wanted to test the limits of this. So cardstock is going to be a pretty common item, but here we've got 4 pieces of cardstock all at once, and it's going to do that with no effort at all. That was the 3/16. You can see the smaller 1/8 of an inch goes through there easily as well. So then I just decided let's play with it and see how many we can get. So here is 16 layers of cardstock all at once. We'll start with the 1/8 of an inch. You can see it goes through that, and it goes through it really cleanly. And then the 3/16 of an inch, again, through 16 layers of cardstock. You do have to apply a little more force, but not much. The good news is the way that it is built, it doesn't take that much force. But you can see, as I was talking about earlier, you do have to have the ability to clean up your mess because it is just going to drop the little bits of what you are punching onto the table underneath it. Now, the next thing I was really excited to try out is leather, because leather can be a lot of fun for a bird to use, but it can be really, really hard to punch through it. So I did have 2 different thicknesses of leather rings, and I just wanted to see if it would be able to go through them. So I have this one that's a little bit thinner. I have this one that's a little bit thicker. I've got to be honest, I bought these pieces as part of a kit. I don't know the exact sizing on them, but the smaller piece, I wanted to show you guys, it will punch through it. It does take a little bit of force, but it will punch through that easily. The thicker piece right here, I have tried and tried and tried, and it says no. It'll definitely make an indentation in it, but I could not get it to punch all the way through. This circle that you're seeing on that side is not it cutting through. That is from it being pressed into the bottom side of that. So it'll do leather up to a certain point. Unfortunately, I got this from a company that is known for using very high quality leather as part of their Parrot toy parts, but that means that it's going to be very, very sturdy. So the good news is I could definitely trust that with some larger birds because they're going to have a hard time punching into it or breaking through it. But the downside is I had a hard time punching through it with this as well. But it can do leather up to a certain size. All right, now there are a couple of other items I wanted to talk about. Finger traps are used very, very often. And in theory, you can line up the weaving to be able to thread things through there. But in my experience, that's a little bit of a pain in the butt. So the good news is this does have a fairly open mouth, so I can go ahead and just put a finger trap in there, punch it, and then I have a really nice hole that is going to give me the opportunity to thread that very, very easily. There's also these things, which I'll be honest, I have no idea what these are called. I have always called these boats. If you go to the restaurant supply store and you ask them for the hot dog boats, they will take you to these. I don't know what they're called, but they work really, really well for Parrot toys because you can use that shape to, create foraging opportunities. If you were to stack them like that with threaded through the middle, that's going to work really great. Now, again, the issue that you would encounter with most hole punches is this lip is going to make it a little bit hard to get into there. But I wanted to show you guys this one. Oh, I still had that set from punching the popsicle sticks. You can see it goes into that very, very easily. And again, if you were making these, what you could do is figure out where your center is, and then go ahead and set that guide so you know where to go, and you could do multiple pieces punched in the center all at once. All right, guys, now one last item I want to show you guys is going to be baby spoons. Now, these come from the dollar store, so they're relatively inexpensive. You can get a pack of several of them for $1. Now, because they are made for babies who are potentially going to chew on them, might be teething, might have teeth already in place, they are pretty durable, and you can make a fun toy by just attaching several of them and giving them the opportunity to rattle or clack against each other, which of course they don't want to do in my hand. There you go. Just like that. They can make a lot of noise that way, and birds do like that noise-making component. But it can be a little bit difficult to punch these because they do have that curved shape. So normally I would recommend using something like a drill, but you're going to run the risk of this slipping and sliding, potentially hurting yourself, which sort of defeats the purpose of making your own Parrot toys. It's nice to save a few dollars making your own Parrot toys, but obviously you don't want to make that at the expense of several $1,000s worth of emergency room visit bills, as you have to get several stitches. So let's go ahead and try this out. So we're going to try the small hole, and we're just going to punch it through. Okay, and it went through very, very easily. The only problem was it seemed to catch on the handle of the spoon as it was coming up. But everything's still working just fine. And on this side, we'll even try the other side of the spoon. Okay, and that went through really easily. So that'll give you the opportunity to do a punch like that. We can also try something like a larger hole. And I'm just going to use this exact same spoon. I'm going to try to line it up so that it's just on the outside of where I put this last hole. Oh, and that worked beautifully. So if you guys end up realizing that the holes you're punching into something are too small, they're the wrong size, you could always go through and up the size. Now, you can't go down a size because that's not how that math works, but it does give you a lot of versatility with this tool. All right, guys, so that is the Crop-a-dile Big Bite. So I think that is a pretty cool Parrot toy making tool. Now, I do need to ask you guys, are there any other Parrot toy making tools that you recommend? What is the most useful tool for you when it comes to making Parrot toys? If you have something that you prefer, leave it in the comment section down below so that people know what they should be looking for in terms of making their own toys. Now, I do want to thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you guys next time. I need to say thank you to my Patreon patrons for helping to make these videos possible. You can find out more by visiting Hi Red Bird on Patreon or clicking the link in the description section down below if you would like more information. Thanks!